She's a homemaker, don't you know? She'll teach you how to cook and sew, and how to wield a hammer. It's the June the Homemaker Show.
Hello, and welcome to the June the Homemaker Show. I'm your host, June the Homemaker, and today on June the Homemaker, we are going to be making an Italian veggie pot pie. Now, let me just explain something to you about this pot pie. I made it up. Basically, Gabe wrote on my Facebook page, I need a good recipe for chicken pot pie. To which my internal thought was, well, I've never made a pot pie, recipe schmecipe, and also I don't eat chicken. So I made up this crazy light. Not as crazy light. I am Jesus! I am not Jesus. I looked up a bunch of chicken pot pie recipes, and basically the idea seemed to be cook chicken in a pan with a bunch of vegetables and spices that you like, thicken it up with flour or milk, and then put it in a pie crust and bake it until it's baked. I decided that what I would do was use the veggie starters, the same veggie starters that we used for the sausage roll, put those in a pan with vegetables, mix in a white pasta sauce, and put all of that in a pie crust and bake it until it's done. I basically have no idea if this is going to work, so I have invited you along for my possible success or more likely ultimate doom. I have already made everything horrible because I tried to heat up the pan, and remember how when we made the pot roast, Mom the homemaker was like, oh, by the way, don't put the pan on too hot because then you will make the oil smoke everywhere and then you will have to unplug it for a while. Well, I pretty much did that. I put the oil in and I was like, oh, 300 degrees is fine. Note, 300 degrees is not fine. I would put it on medium maybe, but now it's heated up again to be basically okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this ultimate sunshine situation. I stand over here, is it better? I'll just have to hug the wall. Is that attractive? Well, I'm gonna start by putting in the veggie starters. I'll just be back for most of the time. Okay, so I'm cutting it open. I'm throwing, this is gonna work out so badly. And I'm just gonna put in the veggie starters. Just to start. Get it? Because they're starters. Well, I'm not gonna be seasoning this part too terribly much because I have already seasoned the sauce that is going out with it, a lot. Mom the homemaker tasted it and she was like, wow, you put a lot of garlic in here. I mean, I know you like garlic, but I do not think that I'm going to add more spices. I am going to turn this up a little bit though. Right now I have it set on 250 or something. So hopefully that will be fine. I've started the pan with a little bit of olive oil because olive oil is the kind of oil that is good for you. You can start it with lard if you want. Heat up the meat and then put in the vegetables and then let that basically cook down. And then we're going to put in the sauce and let it all sort of cook together for a while. Here we go, bubbling. Bubbling over, bubbling over. These are bubbling. So I'm going to go ahead and put in all the veggies. Now what I have in here is red pepper and broccoli and Swiss chard. Since the vegetables that you put in are going to end up being cooked a lot, in the traditional pot pie, you would put in potatoes and carrots and celery and other stuff that can handle being cooked for a while. Swiss chard is like spinach, but a little bit different tasting and not as easily wilted, so I decided to use that. The pepper is pepper, and broccoli takes a while. And with the broccoli, I used all of the parts of the broccoli, so I have the florets cut up in here, but then when it came to the stem, I just cut the stem into slices like you would cut carrot slices. This is a piece of broccoli. Now that I have this in here, since we're trying to cook the vegetables / wilt the chard, I'm going to put the lid of Death and Doom and Destruction on it and let it cook for a little bit while I make the pie crust. The pie crust that you're going to use for this is actually normal pie crust that you would use for making pie. Every once in a while I'm just going to be opening this to move things around just to make sure that the world isn't ending in here. I'll have it on here because then I'm not utterly highlighted. We're using a double crust pastry shell, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Because you're going to want there to be a nice thick crust on the bottom because it's going to be full of liquid, so you don't want any of it to bubble out. But you're also going to want it to be covered on the top to like hold everything together. And you guys already know how to make pie crust. I've taught you before. Okay, this is starting to be really good. Super duper. I've been saying super duper a lot lately. And I feel like there's someone who says that, like some television character, or like super duper. Super duper. I just don't remember where it comes from. It's like been bothering me. I'm like, who says super duper? Who says it, YouTube? Can you tell me? Comment question. Post in the comments below. End my misery. Let's see how the veggies are doing. Are you still being oh, yes. Oh, I'm starting to think that maybe this was a good idea. Maybe this will not lead to my untimely destruction. This is like brown. In a way, is it supposed to be brown? Maybe it's just been a long time since I've seen pie crust. Maybe my eyes are just a little bit off from the ridiculous amounts of light that are coming in. Ah! Now I'm going to pour the sauce over this. All right, here we go. That probably sounded really gross. In fact, it did sound really gross because I was standing right here, but it's actually going to taste really good. I am just going to mix this up together, and then wow, that's a lot of garlic. We're going to let this all cook up together for a time. I'm going to go ahead and just observe here, no matter how dangerous it might be, that nothing has gone really horribly wrong yet. I think it's probably safest to cook this in the large glass pie crust, so that's what I'm going to cook it in. And by pie crust, I definitely mean pie pan. Also, I just want you to notice that I remembered to grease the pan. Oh, I know why this is a weird color. It's because I had the veggies in the bowl that I made the pie crust in. I bet there was still veggie juice in it. I'm rolling a sort of thick bottom crust. Well, this is what's going to go wrong. Oh, but I fixed it. Oh, look at that. This is sticking to the bottom of the pan a little bit. It's doing pretty okay. Mom, the homemaker, you gotta come check this out. I think I might be discovering something amazing. Are you coming or are you fighting a dragon? But look at that. It looks lovely. This stuff in here seems to be doing pretty well. I've now turned the thing off, and I'm going to go ahead and add this stuff to the pie crust as much as I can. I am going to add some flour in here to thicken it up a little bit. The sauce mixed with all the veggie juice, and it's not being as thick and amazing looking. I'm going to be so excited if I can actually fit all of the veggies in here. Alright, so now I'm going to roll this out over this baby here. Okay, I'm about to take this pot pie out of the oven. It isn't in there for 45 minutes, I would say. It ended up being in there a little bit longer than I thought I was going to put it in, but I pretty much just left it in there until the pie crust was like golden brown. Here is the veggie pot pie. It looks really exciting. It smells pretty exciting, and I'll have you come back when we decide how it tastes, but I'm not going to eat it right now because it seems really hot. It seems like one of those things that you want to like let cool and like congeal a little bit before you eat it so that you can have like pieces of the pie and not like a slosh of the pie. You know what I mean? You know, like how when you try to eat a cherry pie too early and then it just goes bleh all over everything and then you don't really get a piece of pie so much, just like a collection of pie. And like granted it's delicious, but I don't know if I would want to eat this kind of a pie that way, so we're gonna see.